What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. Yesterday, I made a video about LeBron James and that $300 million loan that he took out, right? And so today, I see that somebody else made a video saying that that $300 million loan that LeBron James took out against his future earnings or his lifetime contract that he had with Nike is no big deal, right? And so what I want to do is I want to play that audio from that and just give some pushback because this when you make these kind of deals, you are setting yourself up to be leveraged, right? And I want to make some points and push back, like I said on this video, just to show you how LeBron James is setting himself up to be leveraged.
Welcome back to NBA Cinema, guys. So I want to talk about this $300 million loan that LeBron James took out and some of the narratives that I've seen on X. And I really want to break this down in the best way that I possibly can. So LeBron took out a $300 million loan from insurers arranged by Guggenheim. I hope I'm saying that right. But this firm, this financial services firm, is run by Mark Walter. And that's the guy who owned the Lakers previously, before the team was recently sold to Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. You know, they got all that stuff going on with Jeannie and her siblings now. But before that, Mark Walter owned the team, and he recently sold it. The Guggenheim partners act as institutional lenders that provide large-scale financing, such as multi-hundred-million-dollar loans backed by future revenue streams or private credit assets. So I'm going to explain to the best of my ability this strategy that LeBron James used, that a lot of ultra wealthy people use. He got instant cash up front. He was able to show his future earnings with Nike, which he has a lifetime contract with them. That allowed him to pull down 300 million in cash back in 2018. So this whole thing I'm about to describe to you is called buy, borrow, and die. Okay. So moving along, basically cash today is worth more than cash tomorrow. Having massive.
All right, so let me stop right there. Now that can be true in certain instances, right? Like cash today, but it just depends. That's why, well, in most cases, it's not going to be true. That's why they charge interest on the money that people lend you, right? So you're not going to be able to borrow you're not going to be able to borrow $300 today, and tomorrow or next week you get somebody $300, because that's true. Like that's $300 that you borrow now is not worth the $300 that you're getting back. So that's why you get interest on that money, right? So, and LeBron James, and they're saying that LeBron James is playing, he's going to pay like around 4% on that, right? And so 4% is probably roughly like around about, about $12 million.
Liquid cash allowed him to immediately capitalize on time-sensitive, high-yield business and real estate opportunities. If LeBron needed 300 million in cash, he could have alternatively sold his stocks, real estate, or equity in companies like Spring Hill Company or the Fenway Sports Group. You know, selling those assets would have killed his future growth, though. So obviously.
And then on top of that, all right, so I do agree with that. Then on top of that, those businesses that LeBron James has, Spring Hill, and they have to be profitable in order for you. So maybe he probably didn't qualify for that. If he'd have used those assets, he probably didn't qualify for that type of loan, because those businesses have to be profitable. You can't, with businesses like those, and they're not profitable, you can't capitalize on their future projections, because there's no guarantee that you're going to have money, and so that's why he didn't use those. Now the stocks he could use, but the business that he had, if the business is not profitable, it's harder to use those businesses.
They know he got that lifetime deal with Nike. They're able to project his future earnings. Very similar to, I don't know, but on a smaller scale, when he got the Hummer in high school, I think he got the loan based off his future earnings. Um, so he also gets tax optimization.
All right, let me just say on your future earnings, right? So it's important, like the timing of the loan, and like it's important. And by that I mean LeBron James, when he got that Hummer, right? Say he was probably like he was a teenager. Say he was 17 or 18 years old, and you it'd have been easier for LeBron James to pay off that Hummer based on his future earnings, right? They knew he was going to the NBA. That was a guarantee. Just like with this Nike deal that's guaranteed money, right? But LeBron James could work that off. Now LeBron James, with this $300 million loan, now LeBron James is he's in the twilight of his career, right? And so to take out a $300 million loan now is not, in my opinion, I don't know, it kind of leverages you, right? Because now people can come in and call that loan in, and really just start really just taking your assets and really collapsing your businesses, right? I remember what was the guy named Russell Simmons. He had Fat Farm, and he was having financial issues and needed cash infusion. Sony came in and partnered up with him, and then when Sony came in to partner up with him, they gave him a line of credit, right? And so he started, he used that line of credit. I don't know what for, maybe to help the business, and pay off some vendors and stuff like that. Sony called in that loan, knowing that he didn't have it, and so now, you know what happened? They took that from him, right? They actually, the loan gave them the foot in the door so they can leverage you, and then they took the business. So that's why he had to get rid of what was that? It was called Fat Farm or something like that. So those loans, when you start dealing with these big companies and they coming in and it looks like they helping you out and all this stuff, and they want to partner with you, they're not seeing it like that, right? Because why partner with you when they can own everything outright? That Nike deal that he have, that lifetime contract with Nike, like that should be his crown jewel, right? That should be the last thing that he leveraged, because it's something that he, like a nest egg, whatever you can, like emergencies, like you always got that income coming in. That's why, like Michael Jordan with Nike, he always has that income coming in. That's the that is what keeps Michael Jordan in retirement, that deal that he has with Nike. That's why you don't see Michael Jordan, you know, he know what he's getting from Nike every year. And so he live off of that. Whereas though LeBron James just leveraged that and he's not even out of the league, right? Then on top of that, you have to think about, number one, that loan has to be paid back, right? And in order to pay it back, like, what's your earning potential? LeBron James just signed a $8 million contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. And in a couple years, LeBron James won't even be in the league. So whatever he's taking that loan for, he's going to have to pay that $300 million back plus another $12 million on top of that. Then he's going to have to, like, the money that he's using from that Nike contract, he's going to be out of that. So this, in my opinion, is not a good deal for LeBron James. I think, like I said, it just exposes LeBron James, and it just allows people to be able to come in and leverage him.
By using the borrow strategy, he avoids income tax. When LeBron receives a paycheck from Nike, it is taxed as ordinary income at the highest federal bracket. Loans aren't taxed. Borrowed money is not considered taxable income. By taking out a $300 million loan against his future earnings instead of waiting for the cash to be paid out normally, he gained access to huge capital completely tax-free up front. So if LeBron can invest that 300 million and generate somewhere roughly between 8 and 10% each year while only paying the 4.8% interest rate on the debt, he can pocket the difference. So the next reason, he has billion-dollar owner ambition. So he's trying to move forward to $1 billion, moving to the Lakers. All this is planned out. So LeBron secured this funding right around the time he signed with the Los Angeles Lakers in 2018. Moving to Los Angeles required immense capital to scale his Hollywood production company, Spring Hill Company, and expand his venture capital footprint.
All right, so that venture capital footprint and also his production company, again, they have to be profitable, right? In order for him to, like, if these businesses are not profitable, and then on top of that, you have a loan out there that it just exposes him, right? So that's why I'm pushing back on it. It just really, to me. And so, and another point he's going to go on to make, like, he's going to go on in this audio, he's going to say that like, black people are not used to seeing we're not used to seeing black people make these kind of moves, right? And the thing I got to say about that is, sometimes in order to be able to make these kind of moves, you think that it's all about money and it's all about strategy, which is not. You have to be a part of, if you put yourself out there and leverage yourself out there, then you got to be part of the old boys network. And you got to be sure that these people are not going to call these loans in at a time where you don't have that capital and you're not able to pay those loans. And then that's when they start taking your assets. So I don't care how intelligent you are, and you think that, you're different from other people. That's really just a setup for, setup for failure.
Sports ownership. LeBron has been highly vocal about his goal to own an NBA expansion team, likely in Las Vegas. Buying a sports franchise requires billions in liquid net worth and a massive capital stack. This
All right, so LeBron also, if LeBron James wants to be an owner of a team, they look at, like, how much debt you have. So if you have $300 million in debt hanging over you, then they could use that also to deny you, access to buy a team. You know what I mean? If you're $300 million in debt, which is going to be really like 312 million at least.
bond sale position him to act quickly when ownership opportunities arise. So the thing LeBron has is guaranteed collateral, like I mentioned. The loan is backed by his lifetime Nike contract, which I mentioned before. Nike is stable, multi-billion-dollar corporation. So with that in his back pocket, again, he was able to secure that. So LeBron was able to secure the low interest rate because insurers knew that Nike contract basically guaranteed the repayment of that loan, and they viewed the bonds as incredibly safe. This allowed LeBron to lock in a highly favorable 4.8% fixed interest rate, which is much lower than standard commercial loans.
Yeah, it's safe. It's safe for the people that are lending him the money. But again, LeBron James exposed himself. And like I said, that Nike contract is his crown jewel. That should be something that you live off of, right? Because you're going to be getting money from that every year. But to leverage that already, again, I think is a bad move. And you're not even out of the NBA. Then on top of that, like, you won't have that NBA salary to fall back on, right? Remember, LeBron James, up until this last year, was making at least $30 million for the last 10 years, $30 million a year. Then this year he was due to make $50 million, which he didn't get. So that's a big chunk of income to be lost. And so now all of these business interests that LeBron had, this production company, his real estate holdings, all that stuff got to be profitable. But then on top of that, I don't know whatever his interest is or how much of Clutch he owns, but then that has to be a success, right? So, you know, he is really, to go into that Nike money already, I think it's just a bad move.
And so this is what has happened with LeBron James. I know some people are trying to make the connection between the owner that was there and LeBron, but there's nothing there. This is a standard loan from uh, another business that he had back in 2018, even before he had become the owner. And so this is very much different. And I just wanted to break that down because I see a lot of narratives going around online. But now LeBron, he did what a lot of rich people do. Just don't hear about people that look like LeBron doing that often. So I just want to give you guys some context. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to.
Yeah, like I said, when he make the comment, like, you don't see people looking like LeBron doing it. That's true. But you also don't, some people don't believe that they need to partner up with somebody like LeBron James. And they see an opportunity to come in and claim his assets because he leveraged himself. He leveraged that loan for his contract, his future earning for Nike. He just exposed himself, and I think this is going to be the beginning of, like cracks and chinks in his armor. Those companies that he have, they really not making no profit right now. And so that's why he had to leverage that contract. So it's not all just standard. It's not all just if LeBron James was early in his career, I can see kind of taking that loan out. But you talking about on the tail end of his career. That's why when he made that reference to LeBron James taking a loan out at the beginning of his career for a truck, which is probably like about $100,000 truck. That's nothing compared to $300 million loan coming from, these people, basically they want to own you. And LeBron James just set himself up in a position where as though they can do that if they call that loan in and he don't have the the assets. They're not going to want real estate that he don't own outright. They're not going to be able to claim that. So they want that Nike deal, right? And so that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, make sure to leave a comment, and I'm gonna check you all out in the next video. Peace.